The next great resource for local weather is now available.
DigitalWeatherDesk.com is your source for up-to-the-minute local weather. Add DigitalWeatherDesk.com to your favorites, download our app, and follow me on social media. The Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. My camera's not working. Why does this always do this? I'm Jared Floyd. I'll fix it. Hang on, everybody. Thanks so much for joining in on this Friday. Hope everybody's having a great start to their weekend. And yeah, other than that, other than this camera not working, we're off to a great start. Hang on a second. I'm going to unplug and replug back in. That should fix it. And if it doesn't, it won't. But anyway, you don't need to see me anyway. Let's take a look at I-20. Everything seems to be moving smoothly at this hour. And there we go. There we go. Man, my hair's a mess. Probably better off you not seeing me. I-20 moving smoothly at this hour. Went and picked up the kiddo, and we were roughhousing, goofing around in the living room. But anyway, nothing doing on the I-20 corridor as we go through this Friday afternoon. Hopefully you're having a wonderful start to the weekend. And today's forecast made possible by the United Way of Northeast Louisiana, the 211 initiative. Again, the family relief effort is underway. You can text Family Relief to 91999 to donate. Again, pretty quiet weekend in store. And with that, some cooler air arriving early next week. We start off with a look at snow totals over the last 7 days. And I know you're going, Jared may be losing his brain because he is posting snow totals and it's a blank map. Well, remember, there were a lot of weather gurus that were saying that we were going to get another ice storm or another snowstorm, February 10th to February 20th. Today's February 20th. Did you think I was going to forget? No snow. In fact, we hit 80 in some spots. We broke records yesterday. Tied and broke records. We're in the 60s at this hour. 64 in El Dorado, 65 in Monroe, 70 in Columbia and Winsboro. Still hovering near 80 along the southern counties and parishes where that cold front continues to make its way through the area. So Barbara says on YouTube that Nick Miculus is who she's referring to, blames things on the cat when technical issues go awry. So funny story, I did my morning stream this morning as you take a look at temperatures and dew points. A very dry air mass behind the boundary and still fairly humid in the southern counties and parishes where the cold front is continuing to try to make its way through the region. But as I left and wrapped up the morning stream this morning, and we did the Too Long Didn't Read, and I posted that out, I left, went to the post office, came back, and my computers were off. And I was going, what in the world? Why is the computers off? And then when I went to turn them back on, they immediately turned it back off again. And I was kind of panicking for a second. And I checked the power cord. And the power cord was barely in the computer. Not ideal. Not good for a computer either. But it was barely in the computer because Stanley feels the warm air coming out of the back of the computer, and he always likes to sniff it and rub his head against it, and the power cord's right there, and so he was probably rubbing his head against the power cord to the point where he loosened it. So it is actually part of my day was Stanley's fault. So there is some truth to that. Cats are curious, man. Forecatsers. Anyway. I digress. Winds are out of the north and northeast, and they have been, again, quite breezy at times through the afternoon. If you look across the southern parishes, you can see the winds are out of the south, and then most of our area winds are out of the north and northeast. That's the contrast of air mass associated with our cold front. Again, very warm and humid to the south, but much cooler and drier to the north. Look at the infrared satellite as we go through this afternoon. Still encountering quite a bit of pesky cloud cover across the region. Janice, good evening. Thank you so much for joining in, as has Louisiana Cooker on YouTube. Thanks so much for making us part of your early part of the weekend. Clouds will continue to linger tonight, and they'll probably linger through a good chunk of the day tomorrow. We have mustered up some very brief shower activity off and on. Most of it has been quite paltry. As you take a look at the rain returns across much of the Mississippi Valley, I would caution not to get overly excited about rain. A, there's not a whole lot on radar, and B, as you move into these areas, the air is quite dry, so what we're seeing on radar is probably evaporating before it can make it down to the surface. Futurecast shows as we go through the next couple of days, the front stays stalled snowfall to our south. Still a focal point for maybe some scattered showers through the early part of the day tomorrow. And then our boundary gets a final push through the area tomorrow evening. An upper level disturbance helps to kind of scour out the last bit of moisture. Maybe could be the focal point of an isolated storm or two, and then the cooler air arrives for the rest of the weekend, reinforced by high pressure that settles in as we head toward Monday. Much of the early parts of next week look fairly quiet. Peavy, Debbie, Kim, Janet, Rebecca, everybody's joining in. Tanya, thank you so much for joining in as well. But overall, it's, again, fairly quiet pattern as we go through the next 48 hours or so. It is disrupted by the cooler air that punches in as we go through the next couple of days. Look at futurecasts and the mid-level winds. Again, they've been generally westerly and southwesterly, so we have had some moisture transport across the region, but there's not really been any significant deep disturbances close enough to our area to scour out any kind of appreciable rainfall. So as we go into motion for the next few days, you can see the colder air sifting in as that main disturbance kicks through the region late Saturday, early Sunday, and then the northwesterly pattern aloft beyond that. Again, what this means in the upper levels of the atmosphere is we're taking cooler air to the north and transporting it south and southeast. Now, again, the bulk of the stronger winds take most of the deeper, denser, colder air off to our east. So we're just going to kind of catch the back end of some of this cooler air as it makes its way through the area as we go through the next couple of days and into early next week. It will also maybe allow for some rain chances by the mid part of the week, and you'll see that the air really kind of bottoms out in terms of its coldest Tuesday morning. Air starts to modify a little bit, warms up a little bit as we go through the middle part of the week. Then there's a mid to late week cold front Wednesday, Thursday. That could generate some showers and storms. It does not look like it's a severe weather maker, at least at this point, because there's not a lot of moisture return ahead of it. Then that air mass modifies and we're warmer again through the end parts of next week and into the next weekend. So the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, this has been updated. Just doesn't look like it's been updated, but it's been updated. Ernest, good evening. Patsy, good evening. Ben, good evening. Thank you so much for your kind words. James says he believes the cat, and the cat says that I did it. Again, that's the cool thing about being able to blame technical errors on a cat. He doesn't talk. Well, that I know of. Unless he's like that frog. What is it? The Michigan rag frog? Michigan, what was his name? It was something like Michigan P. Frog or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's not get it completely off kilter here. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, above average temperatures, kind of an equal chance of being above or below average. Somebody's going to hop into this live stream in the middle of it. I'm talking about a cartoon frog, and everybody's just, what is this guy doing? Claudia, good evening. As we go into the 8 to 14 day outlook, again, a high likelihood of being above average really through the next 2 weeks in terms of temperature. It does give us a shade of green, which means some sort of confidence that we could trend above average precip-wise in that 8 to 14 day pattern. I said this earlier today, and I'll say it again right now. I wouldn't worry about that too much right now. I'm not necessarily sold on a big storm track changing and bringing dramatic changes, at least through early March. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm not overly confident in either direction in terms of the pattern shift as we go into the early parts of March. What I can say, though, is for those that are still holding on to that last little grasp that maybe we could see another winter weather event, first off, a lot of us don't want to see that, just being honest. Secondly, it is appearing increasingly unlikely. Again, not saying that we're going to drop below freezing early next week, at least for a few hours here and there. But in terms of a big shot of deep, cold air that could really alter the forecast for an extended period of time that would allow for winter weather to move back into the region, it appears very unlikely going into March. Lows tonight, anywhere from the upper 40s to low 50s. I have much of southern Arkansas in the mid to upper 40s, so it will be chilly. May need some long sleeves if you're heading out and about. Highs tomorrow will vary anywhere from the low 60s to the low 70s. Cooler to the northwest, warmer to the southeast. Same story as it was today. Winds will be out of the north. Look at the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. 50s for highs Sunday and into Monday. Morning lows back below freezing for most of the area Tuesday morning. Some spots, some will drop below freezing as early as Monday morning. Temperatures will rebound middle parts of next week. We probably wiggle that cold front in on Thursday. I've got bumped the rain chances up to 40%. We'll see how that times out. Those cold front rain chances can always move up or back a day or two. And that's about it. Again, there's nothing really dramatic over the next 7 days. I don't really see any kind of severe weather episode. I don't see any significant storm system or big pattern shift that I need to alert you to or anything like that. No need to really get overly worked up about the forecast over the next 7 to 10 days. And we, again, want to, if we can give you as much of a heads up about severe weather, then we can do it. But if we can also give you a heads up that we're heading into a quiet stretch and that you can kind of just, if this is one less thing that we can take away from your concern, there we go. We all lead stressful lives. Karen, thank you so much. Thank you for joining in from Bastrop. Speaking of Bastrop, special shout out to the Optimist Club of Bastrop for not only allowing me to speak at their club meeting today, but also for feeding me with Grannies and Bastrop. Let me tell you, that was some delicious food. And even though Jared has lost a little bit of weight in his older age, he can still do some work on a buffet. And he will still speak in third person every now and then. But I mean, I had to turn down buffet choices, which is heartbreaking. I never want to see something on the buffet that looks appetizing and go, sorry, man, there's just not enough room for you. And I had to do that today. Made me sad. But I appreciate the Optimist Club of Bastrop having me as a guest speaker, just to be able to talk about the platform, to talk about how we're serving each and every community across the region. And if your civic club or organization of whatever sort would like for me to come visit, I'm all ears and I'm always open to it. You can email me at jared@digitalweatherdesk.com. That's the second time I've been to Bastrop in the last month and a half. Aside from just my normal passing through town. So, love visiting the folks in the community. I love being able to shake hands and put names with faces and faces with names and all that stuff. And it's part of building this community. That's the most important thing about it, is that you guys, this is not a monologue. This is a dialogue. This is a back and forth. So that's very important to me. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app, available for Apple and Android users. All of that made possible by the local businesses that you see there on your screen. Again, if you ever have the opportunity to send a quick Facebook message or a quick email or even just a visit to one of these organizations, one of these businesses, one of these stores, and just say, hey, thanks for supporting the Digital Weather Desk, it goes a long way. It's greatly appreciated not only by our local business partners, but by me personally as well. Again, you can check the forecast at any time, interactive radar as well on the app and at digitalweatherdesk.com. Fish and game set for 8 p.m. tonight. And I'll join you Monday morning with a look at the forecast. If anything crazy happens over the weekend, of course, I'll let you know about it as well. But it looks like we're headed toward a pretty quiet stretch. Be prepared for near freezing temperatures by Monday morning. Most of us will be below freezing on Tuesday morning. But aside from that, pretty smooth sailing over the next 7 to 10 days. Thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. Enjoy your weekend. Have a safe weekend. And we will catch you on Monday morning.